I'm Bill McShea, and I'm going to talk to you about eMammal, another app that's developed as part of the Smithsonian. And my partners in this are Roland Kays down North Carolina State University and Robert Costello, who's at the Museum of Natural History here at the Smithsonian. And eMammal is based around these wildlife trip cameras, game cameras. These are a relatively recent thing that has been adopted more by the public than by scientists. It's a great tool for us, but actually there's more of these being sold every year than binoculars right now. They are a very big tool out there for the hunting, wildlife community. They're in a lot of homes and all across this country. But we can use those things. You know, I'm a member of the Smithsonian. This is the Smithsonian. We have rows and rows and buildings of animals with tags on their feet. And this is the way we know what the biodiversity is out there, and we know how this biodiversity has changed. We have a record of where something was, what it was, when it was there. That is incredibly important information that tells us, allows us to track how our natural world is doing. Those specimens are pretty hard to collect nowadays. They're hard to have the expertise that knows how to prepare them. It's hard to actually go to the site and get that stuff, and it's hard to bring it back here to the Smithsonian due to the permitting. These pictures are really the biodiversity specimens of the future as far as mammals go. With this picture, I can get almost all the information I can get from that physical specimen. I know what the species is, I know where I got it, I know when I got it, I know who collected it, so I can go back to the person that collected it. I have everything there except for maybe the actual DNA sample, which has a lot of value. But for the most part, this is the way I can collect this picture, put it in my pocket, come home, no questions asked, no permitting involved. It has become for scientists a great way to document biodiversity. So we want to use this camera trapping images as our biodiversity data of the future. To do that, though, we have to set up certain parameters in order for this to be useful. We didn't just dream up the name eMammal. I worship at the altar of eBird. The bird community has done exactly what I want to do for mammals. With their citizen science network, we know which species are increasing, which species are decreasing, how their migration routes are changing, how their timing is changing. I cannot tell you that for a single mammal in North America. Not even white-tailed deer. I don't know. Nobody's doing it. And if they're doing it in their own little silo and not collaborating with data sharing. We don't know anything about mammals the way we know about birds. I tried this thing first on the Appalachian Trail. We tried using citizen scientists to collect data from North Carolina up to Pennsylvania. We recruited the Appalachian Trail clubs. They loved it. It was like geocaching in reverse. We gave them coordinates. They put the camera at that part of the trail. After 3 weeks, they collect the camera and they take it to the next coordinate on their list. They loved it. They came back every year to do this project. We published some papers. I would never do that project again if my life depended on it. It was a logistical nightmare. People are loading pictures up the Dropbox and mailing me data sheets that I can't read, and pictures are getting lost, and metadata's over here. If we're going to do that thing again, I figured we need a data pipeline. We need a way to streamline and standardize that data so that the picture and the metadata can stay connected to each other through the whole thing. So we need a data pipeline. A data pipeline is the essential component of any app that's going to be scaled up to some national or international basis. And we built this data pipeline with an NSF grant. Roland Kays and I and Robert got to try to build something that allows people to contribute to the Smithsonian in a meaningful way. And the way the pipeline works is you have your people and your camera down here. You have a desktop app. Use that desktop app to sort and identify your data. You then push send. It goes up to a cloud site. At the cloud site, an expert looks at it and says, yes, that's a deer. Yes, that's a cheetah. Yes, that's a squirrel. In it goes into the Smithsonian repository. Then it comes out at a website where the people can see their data. One thing we found out right away, if you don't let people see the data they collected, they're going to stop collecting. There has to be a pipeline that goes all the way back to them. I know what I want to do with the data. What we find out is citizen scientists want to do something themselves with the data. They want to be able to work with the data just as much as me. And unless I give them that opportunity, I don't get the involvement that I want to have. So at this point, we have about 500 volunteers, as part of that project, 500 volunteers, 4,000 locations, 6 states, 4 million images. We didn't lose any of them. We didn't disconnect any images from their metadata. We built a pipeline that allows that data to move through and stores it in the Smithsonian so that 10 years from now, 20 years from now, someone can go back to the Appalachian Trail or these national parks and look again for those mammals. So this thing, and that's as nice as any bird picture, if you ask me. We have 4 parts to this: desktop app, cloud site for expert review, Smithsonian repository, and then website for showing people their data and allowing them to get access to their data. The 2 parts that the public see, this is the desktop app. This, you bring in, you put your little SD card in your computer, brings it up, sorts it into what we would call sequences, and then allows you to tag the sequence with the species, the number, the sex. Then you upload that thing, and that metadata travels with it everywhere it goes. I don't need anyone's favorite photo. What I need is all your photos. I need them all tagged with what you saw. And then it comes out at the website where there's a discussion post. People can talk about the photos. People can exchange photos. People can download the data if they want to download the data. So right now, we've got a lot of projects in the system. We've got about 74 projects. Those are all 74 PIs who all are collecting camera trapping data for some reason. 38 of those are US projects. And of those 38 projects, they have about 1,400 citizen scientists involved in those different projects, all using the website, all using the pipeline, and they may use the data for what they want. It gets stored in the Smithsonian for the future, and then it is allowed accessible to the public. And what you end up is something like this. This is just a snapshot of the eastern United States. All those little numbers are different deployments that were done in those areas. And this is from a number of different projects, but now they're seamless. You can just put a box around and download whatever data you want from whatever project it came from. They're no longer in different silos of each researcher having their own data set with their own metadata structure. The great thing going forward is Roland Case has talked the state of North Carolina into doing a statewide survey. They're putting cameras in the libraries. You go to the library, check out a camera, document your mammals, bring your camera back, check it in for the next person. It becomes the national, this is a statewide survey, but it's the seed towards some national survey that would tell us across an animal's range where it is and where it isn't. Part of this is to try to utilize this data. Some of our citizen scientists are students, and they use it as part of STEM learning, as a way to collect data and use data in a way that they can make their own hypothesis, use the data the way they want, in addition to the way that I want. So we've been doing this in Florida, Virginia, North Carolina, and it's been working. We have curriculum built around the use of the eMammal data. And I have to say, the key to the whole thing are the volunteers. The volunteers enjoy doing the work, and they enjoy seeing the product, and they enjoy contributing to something that is permanent. If you look at a word cloud of these exit interviews for volunteers after the end of the year, this is what we want. We want to connect people with nature. We want to get people outside. We want people to realize the biodiversity is in their own backyard. eMammal, any kind of these apps that we're talking about today do that. They bring people closer to nature. So eMammal is sitting at we're trying to sit in a sweet spot that all the apps should be. We're good for scientists right now. We make their job easier. We save that data for the future, so you can go back and see that data again 10, 20, 30 years from now. We involve citizen scientists. We give them a way to contribute to studying this planet. And lastly, we provide a venue for kids to get involved in science and learn how to do science. I think any of our apps all work along those lines. Try to bring those four things together. So I know we're going to do questions later, but eMammal is a way to do with mammals the way they've been doing a wonderful job with birds. Thank you.